It began in a packed Senate hearing room, the kind where the air feels electric, charged with tension, ambition, and ego. Cameras clicked, pens scratched, and whispers filled the marble hallways like a storm gathering strength. On that day, Senator Elizabeth Warren sat tall at the head of the committee, eyes sharp, posture perfect, ready to make her point in front of millions watching live across the nation. And across from her sat Senator John Kennedy, calm, quiet, a man who rarely raised his voice but always chose his words with surgical precision. No one expected the fireworks that were about to erupt. The hearing was supposed to be routine, a discussion on financial ethics and government accountability. But for Warren, it was also personal. She had built her career fighting corporate greed and financial injustice, and Kennedy, with his southern charm and sharp wit, often stood in her way, countering her arguments with humor that disarmed even her strongest attacks. This time, she was determined to put him in his place. "Senator Kennedy," she began, her tone edged with controlled disdain, "you've spoken a lot about transparency and fairness, but your voting record shows something quite different. You sided with corporations over working families time and time again. How do you explain that hypocrisy to the American people?" The audience murmured. Warren's supporters leaned forward with eager smiles. The cameras zoomed in on Kennedy, expecting a flustered defense. But he didn't flinch. He simply folded his hands, tilted his head, and looked at her with that trademark Louisiana drawl curling softly at the edge of his lips. "Well, Senator," he said slowly, "where I come from, we judge a man not by the sound of his speeches, but by the results he gets for the people he serves. And if you're calling me a hypocrite, I reckon you better bring more than headlines and high horses." Warren's jaw tightened. She pressed on, her tone rising with each word. "Results? The result of your policies has been more wealth for the top 1% and less hope for those struggling at the bottom. Don't wrap your record in folksy charm, it won't hide the truth." The air snapped with tension. Every reporter in the room scribbled furiously. The crowd could sense a verbal showdown coming, one that might echo through political history. But Kennedy wasn't angry. In fact, he smiled, the kind of quiet, confident smile that says "I've been here before." "Senator Warren," he replied, his voice calm and firm, "I respect your passion. I truly do. You fight with your heart, I'll give you that. But sometimes, passion without understanding is like a fire in a dry field, it burns everything and helps no one. You talk about the top 1% like they're the enemy. But the folks who build small businesses, who hire the people in our towns, those are the same ones you'd end up hurting with your broad brush." Warren's face flushed. "That's a deflection, Senator, SH.